up in the mountains, my friends, where you can still watch an eagle soar on the wind. And I walk those hills with a smile on my face, and I can't get back to God's saving grace in the mountains.
Welcome back to our Hill to Die On podcast. I am your host, Chase Down. And this is what's going on in Forest Hill for the week of February 11th through the 17th, 2026. God, I hope everybody had a good weekend this last weekend. Because you know what? I did. I always do. Nana nana boo boo. Here's to yoo-hoo. Just saying. What? God, I haven't had a yoo-hoo in a long time. They still make those? I haven't seen one even on the shelf. I don't even know if people drink those anymore. Be good to find out. Because you know what? Chocolate milk, gonna need a little bit of hot cocoa this upcoming week because things are gonna get cold. And this week's Caballo Gallo weather report. Thanks, Nader. All right, folks. Nader sends us another good one here because weather affects everything from horses to chickens. And whether you got livestock or just a long driveway, this week you're going to want to pay attention because starting out Wednesday, we got some rain after a little bit of a dry spell. Then, what is it? Highs in the 50s, stuff like that. Then Thursday and Friday, we dry back out, But then Saturday in comes... Let's see, a little bit more. Oh, no, I thought the rain was coming in on Saturday. It's not. Sunday's the day where rain starts coming back into the forecast. And then Monday, we might see some snow. And as Nader says, it's going to be a foot at least. Everybody get out your plows, get out your shovels. Going to be snow, and more snow. We're going to be buried. It's going to be like the Donner Party. But in all reality, is it? Might see a little bit of a dusting here. Hopefully, we see more than that. Hopefully, we get some snow. But now, 4,000 foot, Baker Ranch, it's coming at you. And we need it because later on in this episode, you're going to see what French Meadows and Hellhole's looking like. Not looking so friendly right now, folks. Just saying. So, anyways... Batten down the hatches, folks. Get your wood in. Make sure your stove's nice and tight. And time for some crock pot meals coming this week. And that is this week's Caballo Gallo weather report. All right, folks. Moving right along into this week's calendar, we got the LSM food distribution taking place from 2:15 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday, February 11th. Also Wednesday, February 11th, it's going to be the Forest Hill Public Utility District meeting up at the elementary school in the library starting at 6 p.m. Be there, be square if you want to show up for that one. Then, it looks like everybody's in is doing German food from 4 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So good for them. Get down there, get you a schnitzel. Don't really know what that is. I'm just saying. Go try it. Then, Mountain Club has bingo. G56. G56. Don't know if that's a number or not for bingo. Could be. I know 56 is a number. I know G is a letter. Don't know if they go together. Just saying. And then, big birthday shout-outs. We have Kelly Swan, the Twindians, Andrew and Cody Zellner, and Danny Packard. Happy birthday to you all. Especially you loincloth-wearing little suckers. See you around. Anyway, happy birthday, folks. Moving on. Thursday, February 12th. Story time at the library from 10:30 a.m., so don't forget that. Then Mountain Club has karaoke Get them vocal cords warmed up, folks. That takes place at 8 p.m. Or is it 8? No. What is it? Yeah, 8 p.m. And then birthdays, we have Summer Joe. Happy birthday to you. And Tina Dan Greenwood. Happy birthday to you. Friends of the podcast, big shout out. There you go. Happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Ole! Yahoo! Anyway, moving right along. Then back at it, Everybody's In has German food again from 4 to 8 p.m. on Friday. Friday going to do that. And guess what, folks? No school for the Forest Hill Divide School. I don't know about the high school. I don't have one there anymore. It's kind of a shame. But, yes, no school for the middle and elementary schools anyway on Friday because it is Lincoln's birthday. That's right. Lincoln's birthday on Friday. 4-day weekend for the kiddos. And happy birthday to Big Mason Duran. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope it's a good one. I believe you're turning, what, like 20? Something like that? Somewhere right around there. You're not 21 yet, though, right? You got to be just 20. I'm thinking. Maybe it's 21. I don't know. Close enough. Happy birthday. And with that said, here is this week's Outdoor Report. Fourscore and 7 snowstorms ago, our forefathers ventured into these very woods, not knowing whether the trails would be open, nor whether the mud would claim their boots. But today we gather, not upon a battlefield, but upon the gravelly roads and soon-to-be frozen boat ramps of Forest Hill. We are met upon a great testing ground of patience where snowpack rises and falls, where reservoirs fill and spill, and where men in shit emoji hats hold axes for no clear reason. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should dedicate ourselves to checking the snow levels, watching the spillways, and waiting for the OHV trails to open. That this hill, under God, under snow, and occasionally under PG&E outages, shall have a new birth of spring, and that outdoor adventure of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the divide. And a big thank you and shout out to the Beastwood for getting us these fine pictures here of French Meadows and Hellhole. And as you can see, folks, not a whole lot of snow. Not a whole lot of snow. But the reservoirs have been coming up. And after Monday, we're going to be white as Gandalf's beard up there in the mountains. So, if you haven't done any fishing, you better get it in. And if you already got it in, well, good for you. And that brings us right there to this week's Where's Andy? Well, folks, Andy has returned to the wild. This week, he's been out on Sugar Pine fishing with bald eagles soaring overhead. Quite majestic, if you ask me. I mean, truly. Rainbow on the line, America in the sky. Andy just standing there like he's filming a damn tourism commercial. You can almost hear the national anthem playing in the background. And some people go fishing. Andy goes fishing under a national symbol. So if you're wondering where Andy is this week, he's at Sugar Pine, reeling in a rainbow, while bald eagles provide aerial supervision. And honestly, it doesn't get more Forest Hill than that, folks. And that's this week's Where's Andy? Okay, folks. Hope you like this week's outdoor report. Moving right along. Saturday, Valentine's Day. Don't forget to take your lady out, or your significant other, or maybe your dog. I don't care. But, you can take them over to Forest Hill Farms. You can take them to Happy Meal. You can take them to the Red Dirt. But just make sure you're taking them somewhere that they like to eat, and then they'll just sit across the table from you and be like, I'm just going to eat a salad. Not really. For anybody that's married a long time, they get what the hell they want to eat anymore, but when your newcomers to Dayton, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Don't force it. Just let them do what they're going to do, folks. They'll figure it out as they get older. They will. And then Giving Hearts food giveaway from 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday is also going on. So I'll hit that up. Then, Sunday, guess what, folks? Dump's open from 8 to 5 p.m. It's always open. Close 11:30 to noon. Friday through Monday. Rain or shine. Doesn't matter if damn Valentine's Day is there or not. You can give them a candy heart if they want to. I bet you they'll take it at the dump. Guaranteed. Also, Mountain Club's got their pool tournament. Go in and crack a couple balls with a cue. You know what I'm saying. And then, happy birthday to, I'm going to mess this name up, okay? This last one anyway. It's Allison Poffenberger. Might have that right, might not. But happy birthday to you. Just saying. Yeah. It's tough when you can't announce things sometimes. Oh, and you know one thing I can announce? It's going to be this week's Thoughts for the Shitter. I've noticed something lately that feels backwards. When regular people start asking for accountability from government officials, somehow we're the ones treated like we've gone too far. If you question spending, you're anti-government. If you ask for transparency, you're undermining trust. And if you want consequences for bad decisions, you're just angry or extreme. But hold on, isn't accountability the whole point? Government officials don't get authority because they're smarter or more moral than everyone else. They get authority because the public lends it to them. That authority is supposed to come with responsibility, not insulation. And somewhere along the way, something flipped. Now when citizens say, show us the numbers or explain that decision or who's responsible for this outcome, the reaction isn't humility, it's defensiveness. Like accountability itself is a threat. But asking for accountability isn't rebellion, it's citizenship. It's not radical to want transparency. It's not extreme to want equal consequences. And it's not dangerous to expect that the public officials live under at least the same standards as the public. What's actually dangerous is when leaders start believing that scrutiny is disrespect. Because the moment that government begins to treat oversight as hostility, it stops acting like a servant and starts acting like an owner. And that's when trust erodes. Not because people hate government, but because they feel talked down to by it, possibly. The American system wasn't built on blind trust. It was built on checks and balances and the assumption that power needs watching. Always. So if asking questions now gets you labeled as unreasonable, maybe that says less about the people asking and more about how far the culture of power has drifted. Accountability isn't crazy. Expecting transparency isn't extreme. And wanting standards to apply equally isn't destabilizing. It's basic. And if that feels disruptive to someone in office, maybe the disruption isn't coming from the public. Maybe it's coming from a government that's gotten too comfortable with being questioned, without being questioned. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just something to ponder while you're dropping them off down yonder. I can split wood pretty good with this thing. Moving right along, right into Monday's President's Day. Kids have another day off of school. I really liked it when they used to just have the two holidays, though, when they had Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday, and then you got the 2 Mondays off in a row. And it made those weeks so much better. It was like a little vacation time right in between. Now they just give them one, although FDS is giving them a Friday off. So, hey, can't beat that there. And then bunch of birthdays on Mondays. We have Terry DeFuentes, Nicole Simmons, and Christina Noakes. Miss Noakes, over at the high school, happy birthday to you all. Gonna be moving on to Tuesday. Down at Everybody's Inn again, they got Taco Tuesday. At least I still think they do, because now they're doing German food on Wednesdays and Fridays. I hope you're still doing Taco Tuesday, Cynthia. Get down there anyway and say hi. 5 p.m. Look it up. One thing you'll always have to look up, it's going to be Sasquatches. Folks, this week's Squatch has been part of the Divide for a long time. Not born here necessarily, but you swear he was. He's a little shorter than average, built pretty solid, the kind of guy who doesn't look big until he's standing right next to you. Has enough hair to qualify for an official Squatch, though it may be under his hat most of the time. Known to work with his hands, could be rope, paint, parts, wood, paperwork, whatever it is, he does it the way it's supposed to be done. Spends time in the woods, but a little bit in town too. River sometimes, coffee shop sometimes, mountain club sometimes. Catch him all over. Drive something loud enough that you know he's coming before you see him. And his delivery isn't polished, but it's honest. And around here, that still counts for something. So, he can quote a war movie, stack firewood perfectly, win at pool, shoot straight, and fly something that shouldn't be airborne, and still complain about traffic all in the same week. Grumpy on the surface, loyal underneath, and always shows up if you actually need him. And here's the thing. Every single person listening right now thinks they know exactly who it is. But they probably don't. Just saying. And if you don't know, now you know. Folks, hope you enjoyed this week's Sasquatch. I want to start doing something here too. I should have started off the podcast this way, but hey, better late than never. Better late than never. And just do a recap of what happened in Forest Hill this last week. A little bit like a news report. We had Forest Hill High School basketball. Lady Wildfires, Miss Amy Saxelby, scored her 1,000th point at a high school basketball game. That's right, she has scored 1,000 points in her career at the Forest Hill High School. So, congratulations, Miss Amy Saxelby. You are a baller for sure. Then, there's also a thrilling finish. Thrilling, absolute maniac of a finish with the 4th, 5th grade girls basketball ARD team, the Firecrackers. Boom, boom. So they've been called. Had a 21-20 victory over Bear River's Jeffers. Fantastic finish to the game. Came right down to the last couple seconds there. But the Firecrackers, boom, boom, pulled it out. Then, there was also a report of a loose donkey, wild ass, so you may say, down by Redwood. Now, everybody knows that you don't just go up and grab somebody's ass. So, it was reported, the owner was notified, and some pictures were posted. Get your ass under control, folks. And then, then, Tuesday, as this isn't a stereotype enough, Forest Hill, somebody lost the wheels to their house down at Driver's Flat. It was blocking a lane there for a little while. So, just, hey, if you lose the wheels to your house, make sure you get them put back on, folks. That's all I'm saying. And with that said, without further ado, here is this week's Robert Francis joke of the week. And this one goes like this. Here it says, an old man shows up to hell in a burst of flames, looking completely confused. The devil checks his paperwork. Sir, do you know why you're here? The old man shakes his head. Well, I've been a good man my whole life. The devil sighs. All right, start with how you died. The old man nods. I was out with my grandkids. I don't get to see them much anymore. Eyesight's been going, but we were having a wonderful day. And then I see it. The biggest, nastiest mouse I've ever seen in my life. And it was headed straight for us. So what did you do? The devil asks. Well, I grabbed my walking stick, of course. And I hit it really hard. Kept hitting it, with mice. You got to make sure. The devil squints. But how did you die? Well, the old man says, after that, everyone started screaming. Kids were crying. Crowd gathered around. They were all yelling. Total chaos. I guess the excitement was too much. My heart couldn't take it and gave out. The devil nods slowly. Right. Where exactly were you when this happened? The old man shrugs. Well, that's easy. Disneyland, of course. Folks, hope you had a good week. Hope you have a good weekend. And we'll be seeing you on the next one.
I bet you never